go to our colleague from the great state of Texas, Dr. Burgess, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, congratulations for leading the first bipartisan budget process reform, I think, ever on the floor of the House of Representatives. It's truly a remarkable achievement. I do have 2 unanimous consent requests. Unanimous consent that the report from the Texas Public Policy Foundation finding that Medicaid recipients actually have worse health outcomes compared to the uninsured. And then a second one, unanimous consent that a memo from the Joint Committee on Taxation concerning that 54% of the Inflation Reduction Act's expanded subsidies will go to people making over 400% of the federal poverty
Without
level.
objection, so ordered.
Thank you. And first off, Director Young, thank you for the call prior to this meeting. Just an editorial comment, because I heard the back and forth on the EVs and the charging stations. I've been a student of the hybrid technology since 2004, a consumer of hybrid technology since the first Toyota car came out with that in the early 2000s. And it strikes me that we've missed the mark here by trying to force the entire country to go completely from internal combustion engine to electric vehicles suddenly is perhaps not the best strategy. And were the resources directed toward hybrid technology, plug-in hybrid technology, the resources required to make one big electronic vehicle battery that can go 300 miles between charges could actually be used to make, what, 4, 5, 6, or 7 batteries in the plug-in hybrid technology. And it just seems like that would be a much more rational use of resources. I know you do not direct policy at the Department of Energy, but I also know as Director of Office of Management of the Budget, you get to review all of the rules before their final promulgation. So I just add that for what it's worth, that we shouldn't exclude hybrid technology, even though it does involve an internal combustion engine. It is I'll just tell you, it's unbelievable to get 55 miles to the gallon in a regular hybrid car. Last car I bought was a plug-in, not a plug-in, but just a regular hybrid pickup truck made by Ford Motor Company. And I'm astounded at how the hybrid technology has improved since the last hybrid car I bought in 2018. And even though it's not a plug-in hybrid, it does run a significant amount of time just on electricity only, vastly increasing the miles per gallon that's indicated. Let me just also, I need to get this off my chest. 1993 in September, Paul Tsongas came to Dallas, Texas, and talked about healthcare. And the president had just delivered a very famous joint address to Congress on healthcare. The Health Security Act was going to be unveiled and given to Congress, and that was going to be passed by the Congress, he thought. Mr. Tsongas, former Senator Tsongas, told us in Dallas that if we were not careful, this new bill from the president proposed 5 new entitlement programs, and we couldn't afford the ones we already had. And I was actually astounded to hear him admit that. And he further went on to talk about if we don't do something about our automatic spending, entitlement spending, mandatory spending, however you want to phrase it, but if we don't reapproach that, he projected in 20 years' time, obviously we're already past that point, but we are also reaching a point where we realize the debt is, we're paying more for interest on the national debt than we are for defense. And at some point, there will be an intergenerational conflict because the people coming up who are paying the taxes are not going to be willing to support the people who are being supported. I'd just like to have your opinion on that.
I think I've spoken around what you're looking for my opinion on, so it's not going to be earth-shattering here. How we got here, I appreciate hearing your perspective. I wasn't following politics in the mid-90s, but where we are now is people depend on many of these programs, Social Security and Medicare. there is no Plan B if we don't figure out a way
Yeah,
to
let me
ensure
just
their
reclaim my
longevity.
time, reclaim my time briefly because we're going to run out. The problem is the people who are coming up, who are going to replace us, will be voting on these same things. And their constituents will tell them, we can't carry that load any longer. And I hope that we can do something before we reach that crisis point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll yield
I
back.
appreciate that exchange. Thank you, Director.